Hi everybody, this is Eric Combs. I'm the middle school band director in Olney, Illinois. I wanted to put together a little video to tell you about my program, about our scheduling, and about the curriculum. One of the best things that I've done for myself over the last few years is I've taken some time to travel around to different schools and talk to the directors about their curriculum and about their program and their scheduling. And it dawned on me that the best way for growth for me personally is just to get to some of these other programs and see what's being done. A few years back, I'm from Illinois, got some of the recordings of the Illinois Superstate Festival and listened to the junior high bands and realized that the McCracken Middle School in Skokie, Illinois has won Superstate over and over and over. So I wanted to know what they did. So they're 5.5 hours away, but it was the best trip that I've ever taken in my life. I got a professional day. I went up there, met Chip DeStefano, who is fantastic. And I spent the day talking to him about his program, and it was so eye-opening. If you ever get a chance to do something like that, I recommend doing it. Find out what the good programs are around in your area, and even if it's a few hours away, go and visit. That one visit totally changed my program, because I took some ideas from him and his honor band program that he has. So what I'm trying to do is give back, because I know a lot of you don't have the opportunity to go see some other schools. And since it's such a good opportunity and such a growing experience, what I thought I would do is just share my program with everybody. So this school year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig my room up with some cameras and some condenser microphones, and I'm just going to hit record at the beginning of every school day, and then I'm going to tweak it as I go along. I'm going to edit it and make some little videos on classroom management, teaching procedures, instrument selection. I'm going to do some stuff on recruitment and finances, basically anything I can think of, warm-up routines, sight reading, rhythm reading. Today I just want to give you a little bit of my program overview. We are a little bitty tiny school, bigger than some of your schools of people that are probably watching this, but we have 400 people in our 6th through 8 middle school. There's about 8,000 people in the town of Olney, but we're kind of isolated. Some small cities around us, towns. The real major city is about 2.5 hours away. That's St. Louis, and there's a university an hour away. There's not really opportunity for kids to get private instruction here unless it's with me. So I've kind of had to find some ways to get the kids practicing with some creative methods, and I just kind of like to share that with you. We've been one of the NAMM Foundation's best communities for music education for 3 years, and the House of Representatives, U.S. House of Representatives, recently congratulated us for our program, which I thought was pretty cool. So I'm going to start with this debate over quality versus quantity. This is something that was heavy on my mind probably about 7-8 years ago, and I was going back and forth. Did I want to have a really big program but include a lot of the lower level players in there that drag the quality of the program down, so that I can say, hey, look how big this band is, but it not really have the quality? Some of the band directors in the area encouraged me not to go that route. They said, no, just take about the top 40 kids out of the school, hand pick them, don't even send invitations to the other kids, and then you're going to have a better group of kids. It's going to be smaller, it's going to be easier to manage, and it's going to sound better, and you're going to be happier that way. I didn't like that. I'm not the type to exclude anybody. So I set out to try to find a way that I could have both. Because why say that you have to have quantity or quality? And I believe I've succeeded in that. What I've done is I've developed an honor band curriculum at the middle school, to where there's a couple of different paths that you can take if you're in the school here. You can come in as a kid who skips band camp, doesn't sign up for band until a couple weeks into the school year, and then never practices. And I've got stuff for those people and ways for them to grow that's not going to make them discouraged because of the higher level players. But then I've also got the kids who come to band camp, who practice all summer, take private lessons. They take private lessons during the school year with me. They practice at home, and I've developed a method that they can achieve as well and not be drugged down by the other people. So I'm kind of going with both of these are possible if you work it right. So I said we have an honor band system, and I have a curriculum that I've designed that will kind of meet these needs. So at the beginning of the summer, in fact about 2 weeks after school gets out, I have my band camp. And the band camp is 2 weeks long, and it's 5 lessons per instrument. So some are on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the next week on Tuesday, Thursday. And over the course of that time, I try to get the kids to be able to make a good tone on each one of the instruments that they choose, be able to play the first 5 or 6 notes, and be able to read them. And by the time that school starts, I try to get them to where they could, some of them even read up to page 12 in Essential Elements, which is awesome since school hasn't even started yet and we haven't had band yet. The kids who don't practice over the summer but come to camp can at least learn those 5 notes, see where they're at. I have put together some materials for the kids to take to their parents so their parents can see how to play the instrument and help them. It gives them tips on how to help their kids. And it also has little mini lessons for the kids to work ahead over the summer. I've put all this together in 3 booklets that I'm actually going to, I'm not going to publish these, I'm just going to put them out for free on the Facebook site here in a couple weeks once I get done. It has some slideshows, it's got flashcards for the kids, and it just shows what my method is for the first 5 lessons and how I get the kids up to playing up to level, or to page 12 in the Essential Elements book. So be looking for that in the next couple weeks. So when school starts, we've got this group of kids who's already to page 12, and we're just starting. So I divide them up by ability level in groups of like instruments whenever we have sectionals. So we have a 6th grade band, and we have a 7th and 8th grade band. And then we also have a 6th grade honor band and a 7th and 8th grade honor band. The neat part is the honor band students actually play in the band with the lower level students as well, so they're in a couple of different bands. So my question I had a few years ago is, how do I have this many sectionals? I've got honor flutes, honor clarinets, honor saxophones, but then I've got the regular flutes, regular clarinets, regular saxophones, and I was doing a schedule that was, okay, every Monday you come, every Tuesday you come, every Wednesday you come, and if you miss a Monday, then the kid doesn't come to a lesson for half a month. And the solution that I came up with is just call the groups number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 14 groups per grade level. And then it's just a rotation. So I might see on Monday group 1 and 2, Tuesday 3 and 4, Wednesday 5 and 6. But I didn't stop at 5 days. I actually made it a 7-day rotation, which has worked wonders. So by the time you get up to Tuesday of the following week, you're doing group 13 and 14. And then on Wednesday you start back at group 1 again. So the kids end up coming to a sectional on Monday, and then the next week on Wednesday, and then the following week on Friday. But because of this, I'm able to get more sectionals in, which means that the sectionals are smaller, which is fantastic, because the smaller sectional groups really help you to give individualized instruction, which is my next topic. What we do is, for curriculum, a thing that I call the rank system. Now there are 10 ranks, and they're built off the Essential Elements books. Each rank has 10 points on it, and I'm going to share these points later on in the summer. And as you graduate from rank to rank, you're actually getting to a point where you can sight read music at harder and harder levels, and you're working your way through the Essential Elements books. So you have to play a point perfectly, no rhythm mistakes, no note mistakes, in order to get it crossed off your book. And you can take them in whatever order you want. The different ranks have vocabulary tests that go along with the music that you're playing. They have scales from memory, chromatic scales, several other scales. There's counting out loud that you have to do in order to pass these ranks. And then, at the end of the 9 weeks, what I do is if you pass a rank, I pull that book or that page out of your book, put your name on it, fold it up, put it in a hat. At the end of the 9 weeks, I'll draw a name, and that person wins a gift card to Walmart. So these kids, if they're passing off ranks, they have a chance to win a prize for that. Also, I tell them that they can get into the honor band by getting a certain number of points. I don't tell them how many points that is, so they have to keep on stretching for it. And a lot of the kids will pass that number halfway through the year, but they won't even know it. They'll keep on going. So rank 1, you are able to sight read at a beginner level. Rank 2 is about a grade 1. By the time that you get through rank 4, you've passed Essential Elements Book 1, and you're at about a rank at a grade 1.5 sight reading ability. About rank 6 is a grade 2 sight reading ability. By the time that you finish rank 10, you're at about a grade 3 sight reading ability. So those kids that have passed all 10 ranks, they can be in the honor band, they can sight read grade 3 music. And these are second year kids, second and third year kids. So when school starts, I break them up into these sectionals by ability level, and then we'll have 9 weeks of just sectionals. Band doesn't meet. I take that band time and I have sectionals so that I can have groups of, in a band of 40 to 60, I'll still have sectionals with just 2 people, 1 or 2 people. Everybody's going to progress at their own rate. Now the great thing is I keep a little booklet for every single student, and it has those 100 points in a checkbox up at the top. And as a kid plays something, I check it off. And I keep them all actually in a file cabinet right here on my desk, so that whenever I have a sectional, I'll just go in, I'll grab the kid's booklet, I'll look and I'll see where they're at in their curriculum, and I'll say, okay, and it's got their assignment from the last week on there, play your assignment for me, and then I already know what the next thing is that they're going to go to. Every kid is at their own individual spot in that curriculum, so they're going to keep on moving ahead. The slower kids, they're going to learn those songs in band, and they're going to be able to play them as we go along because they're learning them in band. The faster kids are going to look ahead because they always see what's coming up next, and they can keep on playing it. This year we're using smart music for that, so I can assign the points, and the kids can go home and they can practice them on their own, and then I can give them feedback over the internet if they were right or wrong on those things, and they can keep on progressing. And then of course I honor the kids at the last concert at the end of the year who have passed all 10 ranks. After they pass the 10 ranks, I'm starting to work on a second set of 100 points, but that's still in the making. But it's based on the Rubank intermediate method book, so they run through that, and then once they pass that, then my kids go on to the advanced method book, and I haven't had anybody make it all the way through that yet in 3 years. So anyway, that's kind of how I get this quality versus quantity and combine them together into one. Halfway through the year, I start up a 6th grade honor band, and I have some 7th and 8th graders, about 1 per section, come and sit with them. And the first thing we'll do is we'll take a couple of weeks and we'll completely run through all the chromatics notes, up and down, different enharmonics, and the 7th and 8th graders help them with those fingerings. And then we start sight reading some grade level 2 stuff. These are beginners. And we just do a whole bunch of sight reading. And then by the 3rd quarter, what we do is we take the entire 7th and 8th grade honor band and we combine those with all of our 6th grade honor students, and then we start playing some grade 2.5 stuff. And the 6th graders really benefit from that because I intersperse them so that every 6th grader has a 7th or 8th grader sitting beside them. I don't do chair rankings. And those 7th and 8th graders will help them with anything they need help with. And some of those 6th graders, they really excel because they're working on their stuff at home alone. They're getting their individualized instruction and their assignments, and they just progress like crazy. I had one little 6th grader one year playing clarinet who actually made it all the way through all 3 Essential Elements books by the end of the year. He was kind of my exception. After he did that, he decided to learn 2 other instruments and made it clear through all 100 points on the other 2 instruments just for fun. This also helps with summer lessons because I usually have about 50 kids take summer lessons, and I charge them $15 a week for a half an hour. And administration is great with this. In fact, I've had principals' kids take these lessons, I've had superintendents' kids take these lessons, school board members' kids have taken the lessons. I do them in the band room, and they're okay with it. But trying to find individual lessons for each one of these kids can be a pain, but with this rank system that I have, I already see exactly where the kid is and I see what their next assignment is going to be, so all I got to do is just open up the booklet, say, okay, this is what we have next, go ahead and do it. And they can do that on their own at home too if they want to, just because they can hear it with smart music. So really helps for individualizing instruction, saves a ton of plan time. Now later in the year I'll explain how I correlate these ranks with the music level that they're playing in band. So I make sure that the grade level they're playing in band correlates with where all the kids are in their rank studies. And then I'll break up the bands into smaller groups, so I'll have, I think we have 6 bands that meet throughout the year. And what happens is that band is geared towards what level they're at, so that I have one top band where everybody's passed all 3 Essential Elements books, and they really fly through their stuff. If you'd like to hear them, look at my Facebook page. There's some recordings on there of what they sound like. And it's so much fun to direct that group. So anyway, that is kind of the overview of my curriculum and what we do here at the middle school. And be on the lookout here in a couple weeks for that book on summer lessons and how to get the kids practicing over the summer. I might also add that through this rank system, I'll usually have about 20 to 30 kids come voluntarily in the morning to the band room just to play stuff for me. They want to pass off their ranks, they want to take vocabulary tests. They're just asking me for vocabulary tests because they're wanting to progress. So at 7:45 I say anybody who wants to come into the band room can come into the band room, you can play. Some of these kids come in every morning and they'll practice for 15 minutes. So these kids are getting over an hour worth of practice on their own time, and I'm there to help them with it. And they're playing assignments and they're getting harder assignments. So it really helps with motivation on practicing, and you're always getting better through your practicing because you're always practicing something a little bit harder and a little bit harder. So if you're interested in this stuff and you'd like to see exactly how it works, stay tuned through the course of the year and you're going to see some videos of it in action.